Hey everyone, Kitana here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my astro community. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about your Mars sign. And of course, in astrology, Mars is like one of the most important planets that has to do with our life and has to do with our personality. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about your Mars sign. So if you're new here, I'd love to have you a part of my astro community, so go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you want your own reading, go to my website, theastrokid.com. Okay, so basically Mars is a really important planet in astrology. Mars really represents the sense of ambition, the sense of desire. It's all about our behavior, how we act, and really what motivates us at the end of the day. And a really easy way to think about Mars is like, think of like Aries. Like Aries is ruled by Mars. Aries energy is very like, it can be aggressive, right? But at the same time, it's very motivated. It's very ambitious. So we can look at Mars to see how ambitious we are, what motivates us, all that good stuff, and really how we behave in life. Okay, so let's talk about Aries Mars. Okay, so Aries Mars, now this is obviously the most comfortable position for Mars to be in. So if you have Aries Mars, you're somebody who is very ambitious naturally. You're somebody who is very motivated. Like you're very great at motivating yourself because Aries energy is kind of like, I would describe it as like the leader, like almost like that boldness. Like if you have Aries Mars, you're just a very bold person. You're not afraid to make that jump. You're not afraid to be a leader. You're just like really fearless in general. And then also with Aries Mars, just to add on, you guys are really motivated by winning. This is a very competitive Mars sign. You're the type of person where it's like you have to win, you have to be competitive. You can even be the kind of person who likes to experience challenges because you want to win them, if that makes sense. Like if you see a challenge, you're like, that's not a challenge, that's me winning something. Like that's how you view things because naturally you like to win. You have a very competitive energy, and this is really great for athletes. If you're an athlete or a gamer or something, you're just very competitive, very ambitious, very focused on winning. And then just with Aries Mars, I feel like you guys are very active people, like actually like physically active. Like you're the type to work out or push yourself to meet fitness goals, push yourself to meet your career goals. Like you're very career oriented too, because like I said, you're very ambitious and you're all about meeting your goals. And so yeah, just to touch back on the active part, like let's say you work out a lot, maybe you're like a dancer, maybe you're I don't know, something where it's like you're using your body. Like you're the type of person to really be physically active because it's what really motivates you. And you're really the type of person to just be so like unapologetic. Like you're so fearless, you're so bold, like you're not afraid to go after what you want. You're such a leader. You almost have like this kind of childlike spirit when it comes to achieving what you want, where it's like you don't see it not working out for you, if that makes sense. Like you only see it working out for you. You only see the possibilities. You don't see the negative part of it. Like you're not going to act based out of fear. You're not going to act based out of lack mentality. You're just going to go because you believe in yourself and because you're so motivated and ambitious to do so. Okay, so let's talk about Taurus Mars. Okay, so Taurus Mars is such an interesting Mars sign because Taurus is such a grounded sign. Taurus is the type of person, or Taurus energy is very stubborn naturally. So to have Taurus as your Mars sign, you can be a stubborn person. And honestly, I feel like stubborn is one word to describe it, but really how I feel is like you're more so very stable in your opinion. You're stable in your actions. You're stable in what motivates you. Like you're not gonna like compromise like how you act or behave or what motivates you for just anything. Like you're a very stuck in your ways type of person. And with Taurus Mars, you're the type of person to do something till the end. Like you're the type of person to like start something and finish it all the way through. I think Aries Mars people might start things and not finish it, but Taurus Mars is gonna start it and finish it and then some. And I think what really motivates you is this sense of financial stability. Of course, Taurus is all about the material aspect of life, and with you, that's what motivates you. You're motivated by stability, security. You want something stable. Like you're motivated by like foundations. You're not motivated by frivolous things or things that don't last or fleeting things. You're motivated by just the sense of stability. And overall, you're the type of person to kind of behave in a very methodical way, in a very, how do I describe it? It's like a calm way. Like you're not going to approach things and just pop off right away or get angry right away. I feel like you're the type to really just simmer really quickly and then act based on what you feel is right. And also I feel like you're the type of person where it's like, if you're like in a disagreement with someone, because Mars really really rules aggression and like anger and stuff. If you're in a disagreement with someone, Taurus Mars, you're not gonna back down at all. Like, you're the type of person to be like, I got time today. It's funny because Taurus is really skilled at ignoring people and just brushing people off and dismissing people, but at the same time, you're the type of person where it's like, if somebody really wants to be with you, you're not gonna back down. Usually you're not gonna engage in it because you're like, I don't have time for that, but if you do, you're gonna like really stick it out for the long term. So yeah, overall, Taurus Mars, I definitely feel like you're motivated by indulgence as well. You can be somebody who loves to indulge in the finer things of life, and there's nothing wrong with that. So overall, you're motivated by that. You are motivated by achieving that. You're motivated by being able to experience the finer things in life, to indulge, to have that financial security and stability that you love to have. Okay, so let's talk about Gemini Mars. Okay, so Gemini Mars, I feel like it kind of has like this chaotic vibe to it, just because Mars is a very like aggressive type of energy, very, you know, ambitious type of energy, and then Gemini is kind of like a, you know, distracted kind of energy. Gemini energy is not very stable. It's not very grounded naturally because it's an air sign. So with Gemini Mars, you can be the type of person where you can be indecisive, but you're kind of, how would I describe it? You're kind of all over the place, like not in a bad way, but it's like you have your attention divvied up everywhere, or you have your, like you're always doing a bunch of things at once. You're always multitasking. You're always, your energy is like always divided somewhere, if that makes sense. And I think you're motivated by this sense of curiosity. You're the type of person where you want to do everything. You want to experience everything. You want to go here, here, and here all in one day. Like nothing is like just one. Like for you, nothing is just simple or boring. You can't stand boring anything. Like you're the type of person to always be driven by the sense of curiosity, the sense of learning things, doing new things. You always want to be stimulated. You're driven by mental stimulation. You're driven by socializing. You're driven by just always feeling stimulated. So that's why I say this Mars sign can be kind of chaotic, which is not a bad thing, but you're just always being stimulated. It's never really calm. It's not like Taurus Mars where it's like very calm. Gemini Mars is very active. And of course you are active because you're driven by this sense of stimulation. You're driven by, you know, this intellectual stimulation with others. You're driven by communicating with others. You can be the type to, maybe you like to socialize or go to parties. And when it comes to behavior and actions, you can be someone who behaves in kind of like an inconsistent way. Like if you have people close to you, they know you and they know you probably don't always act the same way. Like you're always changing your behavior or moods, and that's because Gemini isn't always one stable mood, I guess. Gemini is always changing, right? It's a very changeable sign. So to have it in your Mars sign, you can be someone who just changes up a lot, and that's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like you're always changing, you're always moving, you're always just doing new things. And overall, I think that's what you're motivated by. Like that's what drives you, is this sense of newness, this sense of new energy, new people, new places, new things to learn, new things to do. You're just driven by this stimulation, right? This excitement. I think this is a very excited Mars sign, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about Cancer Mars. Okay, Cancer Mars, right now Mars is in Cancer, so we definitely feel like those Mars and Cancer vibes. But Mars is actually, I think, debilitated in Cancer. And basically what that means is like Mars is not really comfortable in the sign of Cancer. Mars is a very action-oriented sign. It's a very ambitious, aggressive, bold type of energy. And Cancer is not about that. Cancer is about security and being cautious and being like, kind of being hesitant, and Mars is a very bold, action-oriented sign. So when you have Mars in Cancer, it's not really, it's like not a comfortable placement, it's a debilitated placement. And so with Cancer Mars, like I just touched on, you guys are very cautious people when it comes to behavior and actions. You're driven by security. You're driven by, especially like emotional security. You're driven by this sense of safety. Like you want to feel safe. You want to feel secure. You don't want to feel like things are unreliable or things are unpredictable. You want things to feel safe. And so with Cancer Mars, because of that, you're a very cautious person. Cancer Mars people can be the type where it's like, you're not going to jump into something right away. You're not going to be bold and action-oriented like the Aries Mars person, right? You're going to be kind of like, you're going to be in your shell, right? Cancers are like kind of in their shell naturally. So that's how you behave. You're going to be kind of, so you're going to kind of hold back. You're going to hesitate. You're going to be kind of like, you know, kind of, how do you describe it? It's kind of like You're just very cautious. I think this is a very cautious person when you have Cancer Mars. And this is also a placement where you can be kind of passive aggressive. Again, Mars is a very aggressive, very forward sign, and Cancer is not like that. So when you have Cancer Mars, you can be the type of person to be, you're not going to very much express like your reaction right away. You're not going to express your anger right away. You're going to kind of bottle it in. You're going to hold back. And then once you're really agitated or once you're really triggered, you're gonna really go off. Cancer Mars is definitely that type of person to bottle up everything and then explode later. They're not gonna explode right on the mark or right at the time of whenever they're mad. They're gonna explode like months later or weeks later. And I feel like that's because they can be kind of passive aggressive. They can be hesitant or very cautious about expressing their true aggression. And then one like bonus thing I will add about Cancer Mars is that they're very protective about the ones they love. This is the type of person where it's like, I'm thinking about like Solange and like the whole elevator thing. Like that's Cancer Mars in a nutshell. Like Cancer Mars will really protect their family to the death. They will like fight for their family. They're very protective of their loved ones because that's what matters to them. What matters to them is family, security, safety. So if you're threatening them in any way or threatening their family, they're gonna really take out their little Cancer claws and pinch you because they do not play about their family. Okay, so let's talk about Leo Mars. Okay, so Leo Mars, I love this Mars sign to be honest because it's just so like, I feel like Leo Mars is like such the exaggeration of Leo energy. Because like I've been saying throughout the video, Mars is a very bold energy and Leo is kind of a bold energy as well. Leo wants to be seen. Leo is a very showy sign, right? Leo is definitely like this sense of vitality. It's ruled by the sun, right? So when you have like this sun energy with this Mars energy, your actions are amplified. How you act is very exaggerated. Like you can be like the most extra person. This is the placement for people in theater, people who are actors, if you're a performer, dancer, anything. If you have Leo Mars, like I feel like that makes you such a great actor, performer, whatever. Even if you're not an actor, performer, like professionally or as a hobby, naturally in life, people know you as the drama queen. People know you as, oh my god, she's so extra, like, oh my god, she's so this or that, because I feel like Leo really exaggerates your actions and your behavior. And I feel like with Leo Mars, you're motivated by this sense of admiration. You're driven by this sense of kind of just being seen. I think Leo Mars love to be seen. They love to be noticed. They love to be acknowledged. So you're gonna act extra and just be this extra person, and people admire you for that. Sometimes it can manifest as like a negative thing, like maybe you do too much naturally, but I mean most of the times you're just kind of performative and people just admire that. Like they're like, wow, they're so bold, they're so creative. This is also a very creative Mars sign placement, especially when it comes to clothes and how you dress. You might have a very great sense of style. You might have a great sense of maybe like a grace about you. Something about your presence is just so noticeable, so admirable, and very inspiring. Like people are very inspired by you because you're just bold with how you express yourself. You're bold about what you wear, and you're just bold about how you act. Let's talk about Virgo Mars. Okay, so with Virgo Mars, I feel like this is such a great placement or a great place for Virgo to be, because I feel like when Mars is in Virgo, if you're a Mars and Virgo person, you're just very much a productive person. I think Virgo energy is naturally very productive, but with Virgo Mars, like this productive energy is amplified. And when this productive energy is amplified, it can kind of manifest as someone who is very organized. Virgo Mars is the type to schedule out their life. They will schedule their day, their month, their year. They always have like little schedules in their room. They're just very organized people. And Virgo Mars, I feel like you're the type of person to where it's like you always want to be doing something. Like you're always busy. You might be like a workaholic too, but you always want to be doing something. You're also someone who likes to be of service to others, so you might be always doing something to help others. You might be doing stuff to help yourself. You're just always fixing things. You're always doing things. You're just a very productive person. And that really ties into your drive, right? It ties into your ambition, and I think you're driven by this sense of accomplishment. You're driven by this sense of accomplishing your goals. Being productive is really what you're driven by. You just like, I feel like you like to feel like you're accomplishing something at all times. Like you don't want to feel like you're just doing nothing or you're not doing anything that you know, is relevant to your goals. You always want to be doing something that's productive. And then again, just to expand on like the service portion of like this placement, I feel like you're just someone who's very, you know, considerate of others. Like I said, you're very you can be a workaholic, you know, and be very passionate about your own work, but you're really the type of person to really, you know, care about others first. You put others' needs before your own. You're the type of person to really be such a great friend because you're always trying to, you know, help your friends or serve other people in some way, or even try to contribute to the improvement of other people or places or things. You're always trying to serve others in some way. Okay, so let's talk about Libra Mars. Okay, so with Libra Mars, now this is definitely a placement that can be very passive aggressive. Like I said, Mars is a very action oriented energy, and then Libra is a very balanced energy, and that's what Libra is very much driven by. I think Libra Mars is very much driven by this sense of balance and harmony, but when it's in the Mars sign, it can make you kind of passive aggressive, because with Libra energy, I almost kind of I imagine Libra energy can be very neutral. You're the type of person like Libra Mars where it's like you're not going to choose one side or the other because you want harmony, right? So I feel like that manifests as you just kind of passively ignoring things, or passive aggressively really, or aggressively passively really dealing with things, because you don't really want to deal with things. You don't really want to choose sides. You don't really want to, you don't want to really choose one side of things. So what you end up doing is just trying to be neutral or choose both or be fair. But to other people, you're just kind of passive aggressive, or to other people, you're just kind of like, why are they so, like, why are they ignoring this? Like, why are they being aggressively passive about this? And I really feel like that's like just the core of Libra Mars energy. And I feel like Libra Mars' biggest challenge is being assertive. Like I said, they can be passive, okay, they can be aggressive, okay, they can be passive aggressive, but they struggle with being assertive and really asserting themselves properly. And I feel like it can be kind of frustrating to the people around them, because it's kind of like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what is your decision? Like, what are you, like, are you trying to maintain harmony? Are you trying to like ignore things? Like, Libra Mars people can be really confusing in that sense, and very indirect, and kind of avoid being assertive. But overall, I mean, I think, I don't want to drag you guys too much, but I feel like the great part about Libra Mars is that you're just very much driven by harmony and balance. You're the kind of person in the friend group who wants to neutralize things. You want to mediate things. Like, you want fairness and justice. I think you're driven by this sense of justice as well, which is really great because you always view things from a just standpoint. You always see the outcome as the most just. You try not to be unfair or biased. Okay, so let's talk about Scorpio Mars. Okay, so with Scorpio Mars, I feel like you're very much driven by this sense of transformation. You're the type of person to where it's like you're always transforming in some sense. You're always curious about, you know, the deeper side of life. That's what Scorpio energy is all about, right? So when you have it in this Mars sign, which is like the energy of action and how you behave, you can be very much driven by transformation. And I think also Scorpio Mars is very much driven by power as well. And especially with Mars in Scorpio, you're the type of person to want to achieve power. You're the type of person that you'll move and behave kind of like stealthily, if that makes sense. Like, you'll be very strategic. I feel like this is such a strategic Mars sign. Like, you're the type of person to play chess, not checkers. You're just a very strategic person because you do want that power, right? You do want that control. You want that domination. I don't know. So you want that power and control, right? So you're going to be very strategic about it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Scorpio Mars can be kind of a shady, you know, you can do some shady things to get where you want. You can be kind of involved in a lot of drama too. I think Scorpio energy tends to like, not gravitate towards drama. It almost happens in your life naturally because you are, you know, centered around transformation. So sometimes you'll be in these situations where it's like a lot of drama or suffering, or it's a traumatic event, but it will transform you, if that makes sense. Like, you'll be in a lot of transformative experiences. And because of that, you might be in drama, or you might be in a lot of disputes. Like I said, this can be a very strategic Mars sign. So you can be the kind of person that's very petty. You want your power, right? You want to be in control. So in order to get that, you're going to be sneaky about it. You might be controlling about it. You might be maybe even manipulative about it. And because of that, you might make some enemies. And I think Scorpio Mars definitely does have enemies, but you know, like I said, you want power over your enemies. Yeah, overall I get this energy of like sneakiness with Scorpio Mars. I don't know why, it's just very like sneaky energy, which isn't a bad thing, but I think your sneakiness and your strategy goes hand in hand. Because overall, like I said, you're driven by this sense of power and transformation. You're also driven by the sense of depth as well. Scorpio energy loves like the underside of life, right? You're very familiar with what's in the darkness, so you're driven by kind of like the sense of discovery or the sense of like investigating things. I feel like you're the type to like really investigate things and kind of almost have like this detective sort of energy because you're always trying to figure out what's behind the curtain, right? Okay, so let's talk about Sagittarius Mars. Okay, so Sag Mars, of course, the most obvious thing with you guys is that you're driven by the sense of freedom. With Sag Mars especially, I feel like you're the type of person where it's like you love traveling, like you love, even if it's not necessarily like you're going super far or going to like another country, you just love traveling, maybe going on road trips, going to another state, going out for the weekend, taking a weekend like getaway vacation. And I feel like that's really a huge part of like who you are and what you're driven by, because Sagittarius energy, at the end of the day, you want freedom, and I feel like when it's in the Mars sign, it's very much prioritized for you. It's very much a focal point of your life. Like you're not gonna act, you're not gonna do anything if it doesn't involve freedom in some way. And I think this Mars sign can be problematic because sometimes you'll I don't want to say you're flaky, but like you'll kind of like build like prisons for yourself and then escape from them. Like you might like get into a relationship with someone and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, this is too confining, and then just break up with them. Like you're the type of person to just like break up with people because you're like, wait, this is a prison, like I need to be free. And that's because freedom, like I said, is just so important to you. I also feel like you're driven by the sense of justice, by the sense of truth. Sagittarius energy is all about justice and truth. I think we forget that a lot of the times, but you're driven by what's right. You're driven by what's morally righteous. And this is a very righteous energy. Like I feel like Sag Mars people, you can be a very righteous person. Like maybe you have a very firm or stable moral code, right? And you don't act outside of that. Like you're the type of person to where it's like, you are not going to act outside of your morals. You have a very strict moral code. You're going to behave in a way that's the most righteous and the most morally correct. Yeah, with Sag Mars, like I said, you're driven by freedom and kind of preserving this freedom over the course of your life. Like you always want to be free in every dynamic, no matter what it is. Like you don't want to be confined, and you want to live a life that is truthful. You want to live a life that is involved in justice, that is morally correct for you, and that is morally righteous to you. Okay, so let's talk about Capricorn Mars. Okay, so with Capricorn Mars, this is a great placement to have because Mars is exalted in Capricorn, which basically means that Mars performs at its best when it's in the sign of Capricorn. I mentioned earlier in this video, Mars is debilitated in Cancer, so Mars isn't comfortable in Cancer, but it is the most comfortable in Capricorn. And this is just like such great energy to have because, like I said, Mars is a very action-oriented sign. And what is Capricorn all about? Capricorn is about achieving their goals. Capricorn is all about financial security. It's all about Capricorn energy is just about gaining status, gaining social status, gaining material stability. And Capricorn energy is really about their paper. Capricorn Mars people are about their money. They are about their status. They are so serious when it comes to achieving financial status, achieving social status. These are the type of people to be kind of like social climbers or be very ambitious when it comes to money. And they can be kind of ruthless about it too. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. I honestly love Capricorn Mars energy because they are just so, it's like tunnel vision. Like they see a goal, they have a goal, they are going to achieve it no matter what, no matter how long it takes. They have the patience, they have the discipline, they have the endurance to really accomplish everything they set out to do. And I feel like Capricorn Mars is just like the epitome of ambition. Like you're just such an ambitious person, and I feel like you are the epitome of ambition because you really see things through. Like I said, you're not going to just start things and not finish it like Aries Mars. You're really going to start it and finish it all the way to the end. And really, I feel like you're the type to really make your way to the top and really just like see it all the way through. I feel like I've been saying that this whole time, but really Capricorn Mars, you know, you see yourself at the top and you're gonna get there, and that is Capricorn Mars in a nutshell. And I think one manifestation too of Cap Mars is that it is a great placement, but sometimes with Cap energy, you can kind of doubt yourself or doubt your actions or motives early in life. But once you gain that confidence in yourself and really know what you are capable of, you're just like the most unstoppable person ever. Like, it's really scary. Like, Cap Mars is very unstoppable. But sometimes I notice some of them do have a tendency to doubt themselves, because that's what Saturn does, right? Makes you doubt yourself or doubt your limitations. But I think once you know, get over those limitations or doubts, if you have them, then you're just unstoppable, because you do have an exalted placement in your chart. Okay, so let's talk about Aquarius Mars. Okay, so Aquarius Mars, now this is a Mars sign where it's like it can be very unpredictable. And of course, I think that's like the key word with Aquarius is like unpredictable. But I think especially with the Mars sign, because Mars rules action, you can be somebody who's very, you know, you have unpredictable actions. Like, you might do things in a very sporadic way. I'm thinking of like Virgo Mars. Virgo Mars is very organized, right? They have like their whole life planned out. But with Aquarius Mars, they don't really have like a certain schedule. They just kind of move. Like, they just kind of act based on however their day goes. So with that, you can seem kind of unpredictable. Again, this is an air Mars, so it's not a very grounded type of energy when it comes to your actions or your behavior. It's just kind of like go with the flow type of energy. I also feel like this is a very social sign as well, because Aquarius is naturally very, you know, based on community and friends and all that stuff. So when you have it in your Mars sign, you're very much motivated by this sense of community. You're motivated by your friends. You're motivated by just being in groups and just being social. And you might also be motivated by like humanity, if that makes sense. Like, you're motivated by causes you care about. Maybe you care about a certain cause or a certain, like, maybe political idea. Like, maybe you're very much about global warming and recycling and being sustainable. Like, you're very passionate about that. I feel like with Aquarius Mars, you can especially see that, because you're driven by this sense of kind of justice for humanity. You're very much driven by this sense of humanitarianism. And I also can see this manifesting as you being someone who likes to volunteer a lot, or maybe you like community service. Either way, you like feeling like you're contributing to the world in some way, or, you know, you're offering your services, or you're motivated by this sense of serving humanity. And I also feel like you're motivated by this sense of innovation. Again, wherever Aquarius is in your chart, it carries this sense of innovation, this sense of inventiveness, this like electric creativity. So you can be a very creative person, a very innovative person. Like, the way you do things is just not how other people do things. Like, you do things that haven't been done before. You do things that are just so unique. You do things, it's almost like the way you do things are unique. Like, the way you even, I don't know, dress or act or behave is just very unique. People don't really know how to act sometimes, so they're like, wait, they're really out there. But that's just how Aqua Mars is. You're just very unique, very innovative. You're just not like everyone else. You're very unique in that sense. And I really think like that's what drives you, like this sense of uniqueness, this sense of being different, because you don't want to be normal. You don't want to be like every other person. You want to be your own unique person. And you can really see this with Aqua Mars people. Okay, so let's talk about Pisces Mars. Okay, so with Pisces Mars, Pisces energy, like, it's very intuitive, it's very spiritual, it's very go with the flow type of energy. So when you have it in the Mars sign, the planet of action, you're definitely the type of person to really go with the flow. Like, the way I see Pisces Mars manifesting is just like being the type of person where it's like you don't force things. Like, you're not super, I don't know, you're not super pressed to do things all the time. You're not super competitive. You're not super, like, you're not the type of person to be very aggressive. Like, you're very, I wouldn't say passive. I would just say you're just very mellow. You're very go with the flow type of person, right? You're not forcing things. You're not forcing, and you're not trying to do too much. You know, I'm thinking of like Leo Mars. Leo Mars is like gonna try and do the most, right? But with Pisces Mars, you're just gonna be very chill, very laid back. And I feel Pisces Mars is kind of similar to Cancer Mars. I mean, both like water sign Mars, right? Where it's like Cancer Mars can be very cautious and hesitant. And I feel like Pisces Mars can be the same way, where you're not necessarily cautious or hesitant, but you're not going to move until you're sure about something. You're not going to make an action or decision or behave in a certain way unless you've really, you know, kind of intuitively unless you've intuitively kind of analyzed it, if that makes sense. Like, you're the type of person to act based on your intuition. Like, if your intuition is telling you no, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna force yourself to do something if your intuition is like, nope, that's not happening. Because like I said, Pisces is very spiritual. Pisces is very in tune with the divine energies. So when you have Pisces Mars, you're naturally tapped into the divine energies, and you're not going to act or react if the divine energies are not aligned with what you want to do. And I feel like you're motivated by this sense of spirituality. Like, you're motivated by being in harmony with the universe. You're motivated by being in harmony with your environment. I feel like your environment influences you so much. Like, you're very sensitive to your environment. In general, you're a sensitive person, but you're very sensitive to your environment. You're sensitive to who you interact with socially. Like, whatever is around you really has a huge influence on you. So that's why you're kind of cautious. You're kind of like cautious about what you do, or hesitant, because because you know it will have a negative influence on you and really affect your mood if you're around an environment that doesn't serve your inner spiritual soul.